let's go to foreign policy. Tucker Carlson asked all the major candidates what they feel about the national interest in Ukraine and in Ukraine is, and non-candidate, but they didn't ask you. So here's your chance. What is the national interest in Ukraine? What should we be doing or not doing there?
Yes, and I was very surprised by some of the answers. Again, the governor of Florida, I guess, was told to appeal to a certain amount of people in the Republican Party who think Ukraine is like not important. Ukraine is vitally important. It's been important in geopolitical terms for, well, since Ivan the Terrible in the 1500s. Since the Cossacks signed a treaty in 1654 with Russia. It's been a separate country, wanted to be a separate country full of separate people, and geographically one of the most important areas in the world. By the way, one of the weakest ones because it's very flat. So the problem has always been this, and you can watch Dr. Zhivago and watch some of this, right, the movie. But Russia always wants to take this land because they've had a history of people from the Cossacks coming toward Moscow. World War I, World War II, and they've been able to stop them because by the time they get near Moscow, winter comes and people die. So they've always wanted to go in the other direction. We can't allow it. And here's the thing I want to convince you all of, one thing. What people say in the campaign trail and what they know, what people say in the campaign trail and what they actually do as president, anybody who becomes president will take the same view. Trump will say whatever, he's going to settle it in 24 hours. Anybody can settle something in 24 hours. Remember, he was going to settle North Korea in 24 hours. He had 3 meetings with the guy, nothing got settled. Communists don't settle things. They just keep moving forward. But the vital interest of ours in Ukraine, which right now, so far, none of our soldiers have died, right? We've used equipment, stuff we weren't going to use against China. China's a war battle. And if they have Ukraine again, it is much more likely that they move to Poland and Romania. Those are the 2 other countries that they really want. Moldova, of course, is a little country. But it's much more likely that they keep moving because that's what Russia does. What we've been able to do, I'm not a favor of the Biden administration. I think they handled it all wrong from the beginning because we don't win wars, right? But what we've been able to do is point out, even to the Germans, that Russia's no longer a superpower. The Germans have always liked to pretend that we can't do that because Russia will do this. We can't do that. And now that's gone. So now is the time for the president to increase NATO spending and demand it, not 3%, minimum of 5%. When people are in wars, when we were in wars, we went to 10% of GDP on national defense. That's what should be happening over there, and that's what the president needs to do. But it's critically important that Russia loses, or we're going to have them on the border of Poland, and you're going to see a much more likely situation that the nuclear weapons are used, much more likely than today. By the way, people say, what's going to happen to Putin? Go through history. How was Khrushchev removed? About a year. They waited 1.5 years after the Cuban Missile Crisis. Go on. How was Nicholas II removed? Very quickly after World War I, right? So we don't need to worry about regime change at all. The Russians have a way of taking care of it throughout their history. They will take care of it. Whether it's better or worse afterwards, I don't know. But I do know that Ukraine is of critical importance and a matter for concern for all of us today to avoid our soldiers fighting in a war in Europe.